Y'all can see me. Hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And I'm ready to go with my live. Hopefully, the volume is good. I'm turning it down. There we go. I am using my iPad this time to do this. So we'll see how this works out. But hello, hello. I don't think anybody's here just yet, but I know a lot of people watch this on the replay. So I'm just going to jump into it. Hi, I am Mika. This is Leap Taken. I did not put up what I was actually going to be reviewing, but there are two things that I'm going to be talking about today. The first thing is I got a new sticker book, and I haven't even, I'm even doing this to myself. I haven't opened it basically. So I just took it out the box. The seal is not broken yet. I kind of wanted to have a real reaction to this. So I ordered this sticker book. It's Halloween inspired for my planning and everything else that I do. So I ordered this sticker book from Planny Thing. It's Planny, Plny thing. So I've seen a lot of people, like on YouTube, a lot of other planners use these stickers. So I thought, why not? So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip through these. And then this book called Witchcraft for the Home. I saw this on Amazon. It's by Mystic Dylan, Spells, Rituals, and Remedies for Magical Dwelling. I am a cottage witch. It only makes sense that I would have something like this. So I picked this up now for Kindle Unlimited. I was able to get this without paying extra. It was in the membership. So far so good. I basically it's one of those books where there's a lot of information up front and then you read the rest basically, and it's like a grimoire. I'm sorry. So you read the first part, like first 2 or 3 chapters are just like stuff you read, kind of explaining witchcraft, understanding house witchery, all that sort of stuff. And then the rest, of course, is just you the different spells and rituals and things of that nature. But I do like this book. But I'm going to hold off on talking about the book, and I'm going to get into my stickers first because I'm chomping at the bit to open this. I seriously did not open it, so let's do it. So I was dying to know what they were going to send. So it's in plastic. So the Planning Thing Happy Halloween. It's 475 stickers and 30 sticker sheets. So yes, and this was not cheap. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money, but I normally don't pay full price for a sticker book for Happy Planner, so I spent full price because I had to buy it online. I didn't have any coupons or anything. I didn't use anybody's code. I didn't see anybody's code. So I just came out my own pockets for this. So this is the book. It's a sticker book for Halloween just in time. So far, so good. These stickers are so adorable. I knew I would love them, and I do love them. So it's 2 pages each of the book of these stickers. Are these not adorable? I wanted something that wasn't just Happy Planner, and I think this is going to give me what I wanted for Halloween. I'll probably get more stickers, but there's a lot in here to pick from, and I can use them over and over again. But these are so adorable, these stickers. And with my memory keeping that I do in my Happy Planner, these will be perfect for a lot of Halloween theme, especially all through like October for sure. Well, in my case, probably September too. Look at the ghosts and the skeleton. It's so cute. Again, it's 2 pages of each item. And we got the spider webs and the spiders. I'm already loving this. Oh, the bare trees. Really cute. There we go. And oh, by the way, I got my new glasses. I decided to go purple. I don't even know what I did with my other ones, but I absolutely love these glasses. I got them at Target Optical. Um, purple. I think they fit my face, the frame, like everything. I don't know. It feels right. I like it. Ooh, look at this lettering. So Halloween, boo, spooky, trick or treat, 31 boo party, October haunted, ghost boo. This is so cute. Oh my gosh. And then just more stickers. Okay, I'm feeling good about these. I think what I like about this is the quality of the stickers. Like I don't know if it's coming across. Hopefully it does, but like it's so. I like the details and the colors, and it's not exactly what you see with Happy Planner, and I like that. Oh, this is nice. Look, I think these are just so cute. Y'all know I like all. Well, if you didn't know, now you know. I like all things planners, stickers, paper crafting. Oh my God, the dogs. Okay, look. This is so cute. This is absolutely the dogs and the cats. I'm not really an either person. I don't really have pets right now. I'm at the point in my life I don't want to take care of other people or beings because I've been doing that for a long, long time now. So I'm good, on that. So I need like a break from being responsible. I don't want to be um, mommy right now. Anyway, look, this is so cute, but I can use the sticker for it and I'll be okay with that. So I think yeah, that was it. So 475 stickers. The out of the so really you're getting 15 sticker sheets of individual of new different items, but it's 30 altogether because they double it up. But this is what I wanted. Um, I cannot I can't wait to start planning with this. Anyway, these are adorable. I'm happy for the investment. I thought I would get like a little freebies. You know how you order from places like on Etsy? It wasn't on Etsy though, but you order from some location stores and like they give you like little freebies. They didn't give me any freebie. Let me see what this says. Thank you. Da 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 da. A sticker for you. Oh, yay, receive my order from Play Anything. So I could put it's a sticker right here that says that. So that's my freebie. It's fine. Also, a fun little thing I did not realize. I thought I was supporting like a small business, and maybe they are. I don't know. I didn't do the research behind who owns Play Anything, but it shipped from overseas, which I assume I guess is like drop shipping. I did not know that. So I ordered this some time ago and it took weeks for me to get it. And it came from another country. And it's not that I have a problem with that. I just wish they were a little bit more upfront about that when you order. That's my only negative thing to say about that. I just wish I had known that because I didn't know, I had no idea it didn't take very long, but it took longer than I anticipated to get it. I guess I'm spoiled from Prime, Amazon Prime, but I wasn't loving that. So that would be my only thing if you were looking at stickers. Speaking of Amazon taking all my money. So, of course, the t-shirts are out. So I got this one, Spooky Season, because it is in fact spooky season. So, it's time. It's time to wear the shirts. It's time to bring those out. It's time to be our authentic witchy selves right now because it is our time. It is officially spooky season. Don't let that calendar fool you. I know they're going to tell you September 22nd. That's at the height of it. But it begins now. This is the build up. And the same way we know Christmas, a lot of people celebrate Christmas, but you put, hey, thank you, going. A lot of people put up their Christmas decorations, a lot me, right after Thanksgiving, if not the same week of. So I'm sorry, hello, if we're celebrating up until it's the same thing with fall and with spooky season, same thing. So I want to talk about this book. Okay, so it's light. It's a light read. If you were somewhat interested in, you know, um, well, the book, let me tell you the name of the book again, Witchcraft for the Home. There's another book that's probably on the same level, except they go in a little bit more detail called House Witch. It's been out for a couple years now. I actually read or listened to that book, that audio book, coming from, well, I wasn't driving, but being the passenger of the ride, the road trip from South Florida. I lived Boca Raton. Well, first Boca Raton, then we were in Boynton Beach. From Boynton Beach, Florida, we drove. as a family here to Scottsdale. At the time, it was Scottsdale, Arizona. And I listened to several audiobooks. The House Switch was one of them. I keep saying I'm still going to go back and get the book and just read it, but it was very good listening to that on that long car ride in between taking naps. But with that being said, that one's a little more meatier, that book. I think there's a little bit more depth to the conversation. But this book, Witchcraft for the Home, is a very, I think it's light enough, but at the same time, I like having it. I'm glad I got the book because it gave me some really great ideas. The things that I just wanted to point out about it is, if you're into this, I think it's something that you can add if you're looking to make your home feel more magical. If you need some help on doing cleansings and purifying your space or your home beyond sage, or smudging, as people say, um, or burning herbs or whatever it is that you do. I'm trying to get to those notes. Where are the notes? Oh, right in my face. Okay. Anyway, so they break down first off the tenets of uh, the tenets for House Witchery remain pretty much unchanged. Claim your space, make it your home. I agree with that. As a practicing college witch, um, claim your wait. It keeps saying the same. Oh, she repeats it 3 times. Claim your space and make it your home. Claim your space. I highlighted it for that reason. But anyway, cleanse and protect frequently. Honor your ancestors and house spirits. I always say house spirits. Create altars for magic and ritual. Like right behind me, I have actually several altars over here, and they go into this, but it's for me, and this is my working altar. This is where I actually do a lot of my work, magical work. So I have 2 over here, and then I have this is actually another altar here. This is for the fairy. This was in my dining room area, but I decided once I revamped that space for Halloween, I thought I'd like it better over here, and this is fine. And then I have a new altar, which is not on camera, and so that's 4 in this room alone. Um, 2 in the front of the house in the living room area. Um, one in my bedroom, and then outside I was working to, well, there is it's I wouldn't call it an altar. It's kind of sort of, again, a space dedicated to the fae. So yeah, I've got a couple different ones in the house going on. I think I feel like I'm forgetting something, but anyway, yeah. Oh no, and an ancestor altar up there too. Okay, so yeah, I got a couple things going on in my house, but anyway, yeah, create altars for magic and ritual. Clearly, I'm already on. I have so many I'm can't keep up. But that is, I agree with that. Then she goes on and talks about how the square footage of your space or your home doesn't indicate the size of your magic. Now, to me, that was obvious, but I realized some people might not realize that. Let's say your home is maybe just your room and a bathroom, or wherever you are, because sometimes we're sharing space, or we're just in a room in someone else's home. That is your space, and you can make that magical, and they talk about doing so in the book. So I did enjoy that they acknowledge that. And then there's another thing which I don't hear enough of this. I think we know it, but I think it should be said more. Witchcraft is bioregional, meaning that the type of magic you do and the spirits with which you work will vary depending on where you're from and where you're living. So what I did as a cottage witch in Florida doesn't necessarily translate, not all of it, most of it, but not all of it, because a big part of my practice was taking, for me, when I wanted to recharge my crystals, I would take them all. I would put them in a cloth bag, and I would go out at night to the beach on a full moon and charge my crystals. And the ocean air, it was always a little breeze blowing in Florida, and I had an opportunity to do this pretty much year round because it's Florida, in South Florida. So I do miss that. I do miss that, but life is a little different now. I use a lot of times because my crystals, most of the ones that are not in use, I keep on my crystal charging station. And I have this window. So the whatever moonlight comes through here is what I work with. Um, Otherwise, I haven't developed a different sort of practice. I thought living here, I would get access to maybe going up into the mountains and using the energy here. Maybe not at night because that's not practical. But I thought initially that I would. I notice I keep saying I thought I would have this nature experience. I'm basically just substituting the ocean, and so far that's just not practical. One, I'm not going to be up in the mountains at night. That's one, or dusk. Technically, during the day the moon is there, you just don't see it, but still. The other part of this situation is it's just not very practical to travel there. Where when I was in South Florida, I could be at the beach in a matter of just a few minutes, like minutes, several, just a couple, 10 minutes, getting out of the car and getting there, 15. Like just walking out, getting in the car, driving there, like a 15-minute ride, never more than 20 minutes, looking for a spot or something. But it was very quick for me to get to the beach. I would actually go out of my way. I didn't even go to like Boynton Beach. I would go to the Delray Beach. I don't know, y'all know what I'm talking about, but anyway, I would go there and I liked hanging out there, kind of like when I lived in Jacksonville. Instead of going, I would go to Jack's Beach sometimes, but I preferred Ponte Vedra. It was a little more cleaner, less people. It was a little more chill. And also at the time we had a dog as a family, so it was good. We could bring the dog. So anyway, so that's just stuff you didn't ask for, but I'm sharing. Anyway, I had an opportunity to do all that. I do miss that. Like I said, what I'm doing now works for me. I still want to find a way to work with being outside and being within nature. The ocean, being on the beach, standing in front of the ocean is being in nature. Um, it's just very different here. I thought I would go outside and do that. Let me tell you a little something about what happens at night living here in Arizona. Okay, first of all, there are spiders that come out that look a weird color and almost kind of glow in the dark a little bit. Nobody told me about that. Didn't know that existed. So that kind of freaked me out. Let me check something here. Here we go. Yeah. I did not see these messages coming up. Hey, yeah, I get that. I need a long break from my responsibility. I take care of my parents. Oh, okay. Well, that's right. Yeah, you say you do. Of course. Yeah, of course you need work. Self-care, witchy self-care, for sure. Anyway, so this is something I'm still trying. It's an evolving part of my practice that I'm still doing. But for now, I'm here. This window is my outside connection. When it's not as hot, I open the window and then I can feel a little bit more protected. But I attempted to do some work outside and I turned on the outside light and I saw all these spiders, and I said, "No, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to be outside. That's what the windows are for. I don't need to be out here." It was a little. I have it set up to feel private, but obviously I made it. That's the spiders' time to come out. How dare I think I could, be a part of that? So, long story short, no. Um, but it does matter where you are, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around where I'm at. Like I'm still getting comfortable living here. I would experience my first dust storm yesterday. I don't know if anybody, well, Dylan, you were probably might have experienced it. It was a big deal here. Um, they had a dust storm, at least parts of the East Valley. I think it was on the West Valley too. I'm not sure, but it was treacherous. I was actually outside driving in it, and everything turned orange. You couldn't see, so I could see in front of me into my immediate right, like I could see the road. But if you tried to look, let's say to the right, and I wasn't even on the highway, if you tried to look and you saw a storefront, I could see that storefront, but anything behind there, it was all like shrouded in clouds or like sand. So yeah, that was not a good time. Didn't enjoy that at all. I've never experienced it living here. I know they've existed. I was just never outside. Yeah, you didn't get it. My my mom caught me from out of town saying, "Hey, I heard on the news about what's going on." I was like, it was that bad? You heard it on the news?" So yeah, it was that bad. So I was like, all right. say less. I will be very careful going forward. Next time I see, and we got the little alerts on our phone. So I was sitting out having a margarita and some tacos at the time. So yeah, I didn't go. I mean, I didn't leave when I was supposed to. I was having a good time. I didn't want to go. So messed me up. I am pulling up my other device so I can see the messages here. There we go. Yeah, it was that bad. It turned orange outside. I didn't know that. It was orange. You looked around outside, it looked orange. I felt like I was literally on another planet. I thought it looks like what you would think things would look like after like a bomb, except, nothing's burnt up. But it was like, yeah, it was scary. I drove, and then you could see as the wind was shifting just on the road in front of me, the visible sand, like picking up off the ground, swirling in different swirls, like in front of me. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. It was just dry. You'd have thought it was rain. There was no rain until I started driving a little further, and then we went through a rain cloud. Yeah, that orange color is scary because it looks like I had never experienced that. That really freaked me out, actually. I could not wait to get home. And when I did get home, it was like big fat raindrops just came flying out of the sky. That's what it felt like, flying out. It didn't feel like normal rain. Um, I had just washed my car 2 hours before all this, by the way. Anyway, so I run back in the house. We ran in, and it stopped shortly after, and all is well. My Halloween decorations stood up to the high winds and rain, and that made me feel good too. Um, I wanted to get to another note here about that. So, establishing a spiritual space. The witch's home is a temple, a sacred space for magic and ritual, and a conduit to the spirit realm. That's why it's so important to take care of your altars, by the way. Think about that. As witches, we should treat our homes as such. This does not mean that you need to deck out your entire space with crystals, skulls, and spiritual memorabilia. I did not get that message. But you should at least have one spot in your home where your magical tools and books can reside. Establishing a spiritual space also requires cleansing the home of any unhelpful energies. So, this is what I wanted to kind of expand more on this point in this book, which, by the way, I think is fabulous information. Again, very surface level, but I think cleansing. There is nothing wrong with cleansing the home. In the same way you clean, mundanely clean your home. You want to keep things up, right? I also believe it's important that you can, for lack of better words, over cleanse. I think some people get a little obsessed with it. If you have your protection up, you have your witch's bottle, you have a crystal grid set up for protection, you've salt around a perimeter of your home, sigils on your doormat, you know what I'm saying, on the door, window seals. Just think of all the different ways you can do protection. The occasional cleansing methods make sense in between, just to kind of keep freshening up. And there's even a section on sort of shifting the energy, recharging the energy in your home. I think that needs to be more of a focus, recharging, shifting the energy in the home, as opposed to just doing cleansings all the time. Just my opinion. Um, you believe, Dylan says, yes, I believe that you can over cleanse just like how you can overprotect. Exactly. Overprotect, yeah. You might, here's the thing, good point, overprotection. You could be canceling things out and you don't realize you're doing it. You could be canceling things out. I can understand you having protection set up for the purpose of health. COVID was happening, especially with COVID. I did a protection jar for me. That's what we did here in my home. A protection jar. Where is that ding coming from? Anyway, I don't know where. I have so many devices. I don't even know what's ringing. Anyway, that's where uh, we did a COVID jar for my house, and knock on fake IKEA wood. I have not had COVID. Did have COVID the first year in August of 2020, but it's not revisited my home, and I'm very grateful for that. So there's that. And I did that with a other group of women, another group of women that covered, and those who participated, we have not experienced getting COVID. We live in different parts of the country, and yeah, so far, knock on IKEA, we did not. um, so that's one type of protection, and then there's just a general like I do witch's bottle for protection, and it's kind of radiates through the home. Um, you can do crystal grids. Like I said, I enjoy doing that. Now you can have literally some sort of crystal grid set up, or you can create a crystal grid uh, with just around the home. So you figure out the directions, and you can measure the amount of space in between of where each crystal is set up, and you've essentially created a very larger crystal grid around your whole house. I'm a big fan of doing that. In my opinion, you could literally just do a house protection ward and wear protective jewelry. Of course, you could add one more thing just in case. It gets, yeah, I agree. So I was going to say you can do specific protection spells in your home. Nothing wrong with that. And definitely wards around the doors and things like that. Um, so I do have multiple things, but they're very specific. You can also set up for human intruders. You can set up sigils for that purpose. So again, that's the one by your doormat. Then you might have something else. People do different, they're specific protect, they're made to protect against specific things. I totally get that, but I also think it could be overkill for some, and they can overlap and maybe cancel each other out. So just be mindful of that. Even in the world of magic and the metaphysics, I think you need to just be diligent that you're not, in the same way you might be taking natural herbs for protection of ailment or something like that. We take supplements. What would happen if you took too many? What would happen if you ingested multiple things? First of all, your body's only going to keep so much, and at certain levels, it can become toxic, and whatever good it was doing for you is no longer beneficial. So I think the same thing is true in the metaphysics world. Just my opinion. It's about, yes, it's a balance. It's a balance. Um, so there's that. But she was just talking about doing that, and I do have a lot of decorations around my house that shows that I'm a witch. So whatever. Yeah, establishing a spiritual space also requires cleansing the home of unhelpful energies. The thing I was going to make a point about that, because I was losing my point, is that with the cleansing part, if you're like me and you welcome house spirits, you welcome fairies, you welcome things of that realm. We'll just keep it like that. Um, you don't want to banish them. You don't want to remove all that energy. If you believe there's a ghost in your house, some of us have, it's not always a negative thing. Um, a benevolent ghost. Let me grab my water. So if you believe you have a benevolent ghost in your home, you want to keep the ghost there, or ghosts plural. You want to keep it there. You don't want to get rid of it. You have to be a little bit more mindful about what type of cleansings you're doing and how often. I think some people are well meaning and want to cleanse their space, that they're cleansing everything, the access from working with ancestors or working with a specific deity. Like, keep that in mind. So sometimes we cleanse and we're not saying things like unwanted energy, negative energy, as opposed to just with abandon cleansing. And whether it's using a sage stick or something else, like, be intentional about why you're cleansing, and also how often do you really need to do it. Obviously, depending on how your home is set up, it might be different. If you have other people coming in and out and you don't live alone, you might need to do more cleansings in your home because they're bringing that energy in, right? um, and you're not aware, especially if you're not, especially if it's not family, or even if it is family. But if it's not family and you're in a roommate situation, you don't know the person, know them, but y'all just are occupying the space together, you might need to do more cleansings. But not everybody has to live like that. Not everybody has to do that. Um, and then she goes on to say that cleansing of the unhelpful energies. This can be done through spiritual fumigation, A very politically correct term. The burning of sacred herbs or incense, I do that as well, or by using spiritual water such as Florida water, holy water, or rue water, which we'll discuss later in the chapter. And she goes on about that. Um, I have used floor washes. I've done that, but realistically, I don't do that all the time. I use technology, so I'm not always taking mop to floor. I have this machine that is like a wet mop vac, so it just soaks everything up, sucks it up all at once. I also have the little iRobot thing, that the Roomba, so it does that too. So it's not the same. So what I do instead is I use a lot of herbs. I burn herbs. I have some sprays as well that I spray sort of after I cleansed everything, but I don't do a lot of that just because I'm a modern witch, and it's not how I do things anymore. You said you could possibly say I cleanse all negative, ill willed spirits and entities, then positive, goodwill spirits can stay. Yeah, I think more people need to bewitch the Roomba. I know, right? Um, maybe I have in some sort of way. I know some people put like um, a sage stick or something on it as it travels through the house. Mine goes under the bed. I got to be careful with stuff like that. But maybe a crystal or something that absorbs negative energy. Now I could just take a piece of tape and stick it on there. But that thing, that man, that Roomba gets everywhere in this house. It goes under shelves, under things. So yeah, I could. Maybe I'll put it on the side. I don't know. It bumps around on everything. Mine, I don't know. Sometimes the Roomba is like I'm talking to it like it's a person, and I'm like, "What are you doing? You were just over here. Why are you here?" And then I pick it up and put it back in another spot so I can go clean that area. Um, Fun fact about the Roomba, by the way. So yeah, I got that. What was the other thing I wanted to point out? I bookmarked the items. That was the takeaways. Got that. Then there was the actual works. Yeah, protecting the home. This is what I want to talk about. So they went over the deities that you could work with, deities to aid in home witchcraft. And so I did pull this up. So just to let you know who they tell you: Bess, Bridget, Hecate, and it's the two different spellings with the Cate or the Kate. I do the K. Hestia, Vesta. I have a book that talks about cottage witchery and all that sort of stuff. And the big part of it is Hestia. She is a Greek goddess, by the way. Juno is the other one that they talk about, which is a Roman. So Juno is the Roman goddess of marriage. So they don't go too much into any other pantheon. So just letting you know, it's a Celtic goddess, Greek goddess, Greco-Roman. And Bess is Nubian, hailing from Nubia, a region of Egypt. Bess is usually depicted as a dwarf and is the protector of households. He is also known to look after children and mothers and drive off evil spirits. So invoke Bess when you need protection, wish to purge your house of negative energy, or want to ward off spirits, negative vibes, and toxic people. And then it says, keep an image of Best by your bed or entrance to your home to keep troublesome spirits away. Honor Best by offering a small knife or instrument such as a tambourine as a gift. Now, but the Hecate one I was quite, you know, interested in. So Hecate may also be invoked for the protection of dogs and for communicating with spirits, keys, cauldrons, and brooms, or all sacred tools of Hecate. I have all those things in my home. Her traditional offerings and sacred plants are garlic, check, pomegranate, check, mandrake, check, yew, and dates, kind of check. The last Friday of the month was traditionally dedicated to her. So I don't know. I like that. I don't know. When I read that part, I think that's what endeared me to the book because I do follow her, and it only makes sense. When I read this other book, I think it's called Lemons and Rosemary. I forget the name of the book, but anyway, it's recent. It came out. I think I want to say in the last year at least, and I talked about it here on this channel in one of my witchy reviews. But they were talking about this Hestia, and I wanted to understand more, but it didn't like it didn't click. I never got the thing I was supposed to get where it's like, oh, I want to know more. I want to follow up and maybe I'll set up an altar. I never got to that point. It's just a more academic interest, more so than spiritual interest. I want to get a natural wood comb and do some magic while I comb my hair. Yes, that's a great idea. In ancient Greece, they believed in a spirit called Agathos Daemon. It was in the shape of a snake or a young boy. Oh, really? Okay. The Greek mythology is very interesting. You can poke holes in it. You can find, inspiring things. You can find horrifying, despicable, disgusting things as well. It is what it is. It's interesting, which goes into my overall thoughts when it comes to deities and worshiping gods and goddesses and all that sort of stuff. I do not worship. I revere. I petition. I commune. I respect, love, allow to be guided by, um, give offerings to, dream of, receive messages from, deliver messages, heartfelt messages to gods and goddesses, specifically goddesses, because I have not been working with any male energy. It's mostly all been female energy, because that's just what I need at this point in my spirituality. Um, Years ago, I want to say about 2 years ago, I think I talked about it here. I know I did. I had this weird encounter with a dog trying to get into my home, opening the door. Come to find out, it was one of my neighbors, and their house was on the next street over in the same position as my home. So the dog naturally thought it was his home, and he knows how to open the door to get in the house. Fun fact. So I was just sitting in my house in the front door. I see the handle jiggling, and I'm like, so I go look around the window, like, and I saw the dog trying to open the door. So, like, you trying to tell somebody this, and it doesn't make any sense. The dog was trying to get in. So it just had this wild thing of like, what if that door was not locked? Which, things happen, and that dog, we would have just looked at each other like, what are we doing now? He would have been confused because it's not his home, and I was confused because why is a dog in my house? Um, but that strange encounter that only happened once, um, strange. And then there was another time that it was two dogs, but that one, they were traveling together. They were domesticated, they were pets to someone living here. They had a family. They just kept getting out because clearly they're very smart animals because they knew how to open the door to get in, which means I think they knew how to open the door to get out because they kept letting themselves out when their owner wasn't home. Um, Another time they came and just laid on the porch, just to chill. And then one of the neighbors realized they knew I didn't have a dog, so they found it and took the dogs home. But that experience, along with some other things, was actually leading me to Hecate. Her dogs are like the raptor in Jurassic Park. That's exactly what I said. They knows how to now, not safe, knows how to get out now, knows how to open the door. It got smart. It evolved that quick. But the dogs, the whole dogs and all that accompany Hecate, and that's a big part of like how people recognize her. So I believe she was sinning, and she has a wicked sense of humor, if you call it that, at least from my experience when I work with her, um, and when she communicates with me in different ways. And it's always in ways where it's kind of like funny, which I love. I appreciate that. I'm not a very serious person all the time. So I appreciate having this spiritual experience where it's kind of a little on the darker side, but lighthearted. Like your blood is kind of flowing, pumping, your heart's racing because you are out of your depths, but at the same time, you're really not in danger because those dogs weren't going to do anything to me. When the neighbors came, they were just like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" Like, I'm just happy to see people. Like, and could you maybe direct me to my home now? Just looking for some. They were led. They allowed themselves to be led to their homes, so they weren't like dangerous animals or anything. Oh my gosh! But that was a weird moment. I had to call. I remember at the time I called for help. Like, can you please come home and help me with these dogs? It was like, what dogs? The dogs that are trying to get in the house. Crazy moment in my life. Anyway, yeah, things like that. That's when I know it's Hecate with me. Or in those, like, it's very direct images. I didn't know at the time, but there was, like I said, a series of events that happened all at the same time, which led me to see, oh, that's what this is. This is her. Um, So, one of the household spirits energy brew. This is something I'm going to do. And I was thinking up this kind of fun little series I might start on when you see spells or whatever in a book. What if I just did the spells? What if I saw it? So I already have a couple things lined up of books and things like that I've already talked about on this channel, but like the Witches Cocktails, I think it's called Witches Cocktails. I can't remember. Do I have the book nearby? Oh yeah, Witches Witchcraft Cocktails. That's it. Because I have to go to the liquor store and get some things. If you watch my Halloween house tour, my liquor situation is kind of bare. So I was gonna do a fun run and get me some things to make some magical brews. And the thing the books do, which I do appreciate books that they, obviously give you the recipes, the steps, and everything. But there's a part of it that they don't tell you, and that is like, how do you actually code the energy? It's all the signs and symbolism. So you're using rosemary for this and the salt rum for that, and this particular flavored simple syrup because it has this herb and magical properties for that. That's great. That's the main part. You're just assembling things. So what separates just having a cocktail from a magical cocktail? That's what I wanted to show. So I'm looking forward to actually recording those videos. But first, I got to get to the liquor store. But this is a good one. Household Spirits Energy Brew. So it says the brew is intended to feed the house and the spirits who dwell within it. Right up my alley. It can help attract the spirits of your home and geographic areas. And it raises the vibrations of your household. Prepare this brew on a Monday evening for best results. So 2 cups of water, a medium pot, 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, 3 tablespoons of nutmeg, 3 whole pieces of clove, 1 tablespoon of mugwort, and a mug. Now, here's a trick. If you don't have all that, some pumpkin spice will do. There you go. um, Basically pour the water in the pot, blah, 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 add the cinnamon, the clove, and the mugwort. Allow the aroma and steam to fill the kitchen, making sure not to let it boil over. Then they give this one, they tell you what to say. So stand over the brew as you say, spirits of earth and beyond the veil. If you're kind, I invite you from wherever you hail. I brew this offering in my sacred space so that you can enjoy it in this place. You can modify that a little bit, but that's not bad. Remove the pot from the stove and allow the brew to cool. Then you pour it into a mug and offer it to the spirits by placing it on your altar. If you don't have an altar set up for house spirits, they say the center of your kitchen counter. Perfect for me. And then pour the rest of the brew over the entryway of your home and in your backyard. Um, and they said if that's not possible, flush the remaining liquid down the toilet. I like that. Then it says, you love that chant, right? Okay. Hi, KB. Oh, hi, KB. I'm looking over the screen. Hi, KB. Allow the mug to sit with the brew for 3 days. After that, thank the spirits and pour out the brew, either out the front or back, the entry of your home or down the sink. So they said that again. So there you go. So you keep the mug, but whatever's left in the pot, that's the one that she was saying. You pour it on the entryway. Isn't this like simple, but you can see the power in this. So I thought this was good. So it stood out and I wanted to share it because one, I think I'm pretty sure I'll be doing this one. I like that a lot, actually. And then there was another one that I wanted to share just to kind of give you a flavor of what the grimoire part of this book is. So this one's called the Wheel of Fortune Energy Spell. Um, so it says the Wheel of Fortune in tarot is a card of cycles and new beginnings, destiny, and luck. This spell harnesses the archetypal aspects of the tarot and uses it to energize your sacred space, reminding you that luck is on your side and that there's no need to stress by creating a simple altar. So, a simple altar, they just want you to have the Wheel of Fortune tarot card, 3 pieces of clear quartz. I would use one. I mean, you can go with the number thing, but I'm fine with one, but we'll see. And 1 piece of selenite. So you arrange the 2 quartz pieces on both sides of the card, and they said the third on top. Okay, so you're centering around the card. I get it. So you're putting all the crystals around the card. Place the piece of selenite under the card. And then here's what they tell you to say. Hold both hands over the center of the card, close your eyes, and say, Wheel of Fortune, mighty and great, spin for me and wield my fate. Let me feel energized before it's too late. It says, repeat step 5, what I just said, for 7 days. Not bad. So I thought that was a really simple, maybe possibly modified spell that, or chant that you could do. Spell, yeah, for Wheel of Fortune energy. So just kind of changing the energy, becoming energized. This would have been great for me over the past few weeks because I felt like I was in a bit of a slump. I would have loved to have done this. This would have been right up my alley. But that was a necessary slump. I am someone who says this all the time. Sometimes you really have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like you've got to get over yourself. You got to get annoyed with yourself to get over yourself. And that's kind of what I needed to go through the phase, sadly, because I'm over it now. And I'm good. You love that as well. You might use that student, right? That was good. That sounds like some of this is good. I love when they add the extra information of like what to say. I may not say those exact words, but it's a great starting point if you want to do modify it a little bit. Um, and the other one I just wanted to point out, just one more, was something called Medea's Cauldron Blessing. So um, this one says Medea is one of the greatest witches from antiquity. We've all heard of her, right? Her grandfather was Helios, the sun god, and her aunt was the mighty enchantress Circe. She was also a priestess of Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft. And Medea was said to have an enchanting cauldron that she used to bless the unlucky, rejuvenate the elderly, and even resurrect the dead. She was knowledgeable in the use of botanicals and baneful poisons, as well as protection magic. This ritual has been modified from the Medea's ritual found in the Ovid's Metamorphoses. And then they say perform this ritual during the evening before bed. So check this out. So the materials you want are salt, a cauldron of any size filled with water, 3 drops of olive oil, a pinch of mullein, 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 3 garlic cloves, a pinch of mugwort, a pinch of lavender, some matches, and a sprig of rosemary. So far, we're good. I can figure this out. Sprinkle the salt on the cauldron, and they tell you to hold both your hands out over the cauldron and say, Mighty Hecate, whose torches burn bright, I ask for your presence as I perform this ritual tonight. Already in my wheelhouse, something I already say. Add the olive oil to the cauldron and then say, Sacred cauldron of ancient power, I call forth Medea's secrets during this witching hour. So far, I'm still engaged. And then you add the other herbs, the mullein, the garlic, the mugwort, and lavender to the cauldron. Herbs of magic and sorcery, bless the space, so mote it be. Okay? And then it says, light the sprig of rosemary, allow it to burn for several seconds, and then plunge it into the cauldron's water, extinguishing the flame. Stir the cauldron with the rosemary sprig and say, This space is blessed with sorcery in the name of Hecate. This. Place the cauldron in an area where it can be left undisturbed. Leave the cauldron alone for 3 nights, and after the third night, pour the contents of the cauldron out over the entry into your home. If that's not possible, simply flush the contents. Can we just talk about how this is an author giving realistic approaches to what to do after the spell? Because you don't see a lot of that, right? I have an issue with being from Ovid because Ovid is a Roman, he's not Greek, so he's outside the culture. Well, there is an adaptation in the same way I probably could take. I look at it like this. In the same way, I'm looking over my deck of cards, my tarot cards. I have this. I let me see if I think I don't even know if I kept it out here. Yeah, I did. I have these cards that I got. Pull them. I don't have the cover for it, but these were supposed for some people. They love these cards, right? Um, I don't like them. They're based on the Orishas, right? So I remember at the time, I really thought I was like, this is it. This deck is going to be life changing. I thought it was going to be life changing for me. I really did. I really did. But the book that came with the cards was so negative that it kind of took me. I don't know. I didn't like. I couldn't get with it anymore. But you know what? In hindsight, I could still use the cards and just develop my own meanings to them because I know enough about Orishas that I can make my own connections. I can make my own meanings with it. And it was something actually I had kind of started looking into based on my knowledge of Orishas and things like that. And all of them are not of Orishas and things like that. But anyway, I felt like, you know what, I can make my own versions. Like there's something in here that says the salamanders. But the book was just so negative and I felt like it was very anti black. And even though it was based on, you know, spirituality practiced by and created by black people, um, be careful who writes some of the books that you read. Sometimes they have bias. Uh, Oh, okay, I thought I saw another message pop up. Anyway, sometimes they have a bias, but anyway, I'm able to still. I kept the cards for a reason because I think I can still work with them and just ignore the intention of the author. Um, so don't throw the baby out with the bathwater is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I think this is a wonderful spell, though. It's a light book. It's not that deep. Let me how many pages? 197 pages. A lot of it is like filler stuff in between. So more like 170 pages. It was to the point, you walk away. There's a whole lot of different items in here and things to do. It's broken up into two parts. The first part, of course, is the introductory, and then part two, spells, rituals, and remedies for the magical home. And that's where it kind of gets into the grimoire part. And they break that up into sections like cleansing the home versus purifying the home versus re-energizing the home. So they have really nice ideas, like an egg space cleansing. So like really, really, I don't know. I thought it was really good. You can do what you want. Find what works for you. They even have something with a bell for doing a purifying, which is different from a cleansing. If you didn't know. It's a little different. But I'm more a fan of the re energizing. That's what I aim to do in my home. I like to keep the energy balanced. Sometimes the energy fills off in the house, usually because of the inhabitants, but sometimes weather as well. I think because it sets a certain tone. I know for me, I interpret too many cloudy days in a row in a bad it's not good for me to be in that kind of weather. I can't handle I need sunshine. I need to see sun bursting through the windows. I just respond well to that. I also think it's because I was born in the spring, and I do believe that has a lot to do with it as having a kid who, my son was born in November, and I noticed he does not like that. He feels very comfortable, kind of like and darker. It gets dark early and it's a bit of an overcast. Like he likes it. He that makes him feel good. He prefers that actually. Uh, what's the difference between purifying and cleansing? Okay, so I would say cleansing is sort of wiping out um, energy. So let's set prime example. This is the best way to explain it. So like my working altar is over here. Occasionally, I cleanse the space after a ritual. Let's say I did a full moon ritual and I raised a lot of energy, especially I'm working with others. I'm lending my energy virtually through them. Because usually I have like a little standing or I'm working virtually with folk over the phone. So I'm working here and I'm doing a lot of things and I'm bringing, there's a lot of energy. I'm calling on my goddess I work with to aid me. So there's a lot of energies plus the organic and energies of the herbs or whatever else I'm working with, right? So I want to cleanse that space. I want to sort of reset. I want to get rid of all of that energy. So I'm going to do a cleansing. For me, a cleansing starts with mundane cleaning. I'm going to wipe everything down thoroughly, make sure I dust, my incense holder, make sure everything's clean. I start with that. Now, to add a magical component to that, you can add your Florida water, whatever holy water or something like that to your cleaning products. But I do that. Then I'll do a smoke cleanse. Purifying would be okay, so I've already cleansed it. Let's say I haven't worked there in a while. So I come in and I'm ready to do some new work that day. I'm not doing a cleansing again. I'm going to purify that space because I need to make sure there's no residual situation. I'm not cleansing all over, it's purifying. So I'll do something. It could be a certain instance. sometimes I use my own energy for my body because I know my intention. So I basically draw up this energy of just purifying the space, making it sacred. I'm the witch. I'm the person that makes it magical. So I can see it coming from myself. I don't need an external source. So I just take my hands and I'm basically saying, and I might even put a little oil or something on my hands. I keep a lot of different oils for that purpose, like a general all purpose anointing oil. And I might have that just lightly touch around the desk, the table surface. And I say a little something to purify the space, not cleanse it, sort of like blessing it with my energy. I'm making this sacred again, ready to receive whatever work I'm going to do on that space. I hope that makes sense. I was born a couple of days after the first day of spring, but the day of my birth, it rained a lot. So that's probably why I love storms and overcast. Yeah, it probably is why. Oh my gosh. But anyway, that's how I distinguish cleansing and purifying. To me, purifying is almost making it sacred. It's borderline consecrating in my mind. That makes sense, almost like that. The space has already been consecrated, so I'm not actually consecrating the space, but those are the only terms I can use to explain what I'm doing. um that's where you would do things like anoint, like you wouldn't be using anointing oil during a cleanse, but you would to purify a space. And if I'm re-energizing a space, that's where like your sprays come into play. You could use that for a cleanse, but that's more just to kind of rejuvenate, keep the energies balanced. The buildup of any negative or nastiness building up, do a little spritz. It's just keeping it balanced. It's not overhauling the whole house of spirits or anything like that. That kind of actually makes sense. Good. I'm glad it made sense. All right. But yeah, so that's how that's what I see. But yeah, I was really enamored with this book. It was a quick read because you're really just reading the first part, and then the rest was, and it was a lot of information. I could skim it honestly, because I was already aware of that because I practice that way anyway. And it's always good sometimes reading, at least for me, when you are on a certain path that I don't want to say it's not popular because cottage core is popular, and there are people who like the witchy aesthetic or saying they're a witch, so they kind of intermingle into this cottage witch core situation. But to me, it's more about a look than a way of life. Your spirituality. It's my spirituality. I do like the cottage core look, by the way. I'm a fan of that whole aesthetic as well. But it's not my spirituality per se. I like how I've been practiced for a decade and I'm still learning things. But of course, there's always more to learn. And sometimes I pick up things and I might get to a certain point and I sort of, I don't want to say it feels like I abandon it, but I come back to it because the Orishas, I had learned quite a lot at one point. And then, hey, all greetings from Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Olivia. Thank you for joining. Um, I learned a lot, and then I didn't do very much with it at that after that. After I learned what I learned, and then years later, I found myself being in a different place, being exposed to that energy again. So yeah, then I picked it back up, and I became even more educated on Orishas and. Just trying to understand a little bit more and seeing where do I fit? Where does that fit into my practice? Is that part of my practice? Do I want to be initiated? Like having kind of those moments at the time. That was when I was living in Florida. It felt like it made a lot of sense. But as it turns out, my opinion on this is that who I have the utmost respect for these traditions, and I do appreciate the concept of initiation. I initiated myself into witchcraft. I did a self initiation. There was no one to initiate me. It does not make my initiation less valid. That's my opinion on that subject. I just think that, what happens if you don't have people around you? What if you don't have access? What did people do before the internet? Did they just, what, what I'm saying? Like, what did they do? Also, what about for people who couldn't read all those years ago? Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, but they didn't get initiated, yet they practiced. It was just part of their everyday life. My spirituality is it like over here? And then there's the Mika that's just out in the world. It's all mixed in. So I hope that made sense too. I haven't done an initiation. Yo, I did do mine. I've done a dedication and a solitary initiation for myself. And I was very proud of that. That was some years ago. You don't need one. You don't need one. I wanted to do it. I wanted to. This was one of those times where it was like I felt like I was back on again because I had been off of witchcraft, meaning I didn't do really anything. Like weeks went by and it turned to a few months where I wasn't really doing anything. I didn't pay attention to the phase of the moon. And then I felt like kind of just like bored. I felt, I don't know, I don't want to say I felt bad, but it reached a point I just felt like, I don't know, like I'm missing something. Like life didn't have flavor, for lack of a better. It didn't have the same flavor it did before. I was missing some spices, so I got back into it, and then I realized, you know what, this is something you need to just be. This is who you are. Don't deny it, and that's when I kind of got really more resolute, and I was able. That was part of me shedding, the last remnants of the indoctrination of Christianity and all that sort of stuff. So that's why I think it was important for me at the time. It's interesting because how I know someone who has posed this question on how does it make sense if you were baptized to do a reversal baptismal? Where's the flavor? Yeah, I know, right? um, would it make sense to do a reversal because you just sort of want to, completely separate yourself from that? Unholy baptismal. I don't even know if that makes any sense. Um, to just kind of remove yourself. Yeah, I don't follow a particular witchcraft tradition. This is KB saying this. My practice is so different than any tradition I've come across. So I've been on the solitary route for the longest time. I was too. I just, and I mean, honestly, I was kind of fine with it because I didn't want anyone telling me anything really. I didn't want anyone telling me what to do or something like that. So yeah, understand it. And no one actually, even though I work with other witches today, I do. Um, I still do my own stuff. We all do. And that's one of the great things that I like about the witches that I currently work with because I've never really had this before to work with dynamic, very diverse group of witches with different paths. We all didn't arrive at this space together on the same path. It's very different. And I do appreciate that. So there is something to be said with working with people, but it took me years, decades to find people that I could do this with. So I know that's not easy. And beforehand, I would have told you I was perfectly fine as a solitaire, and truly was. But I also heed the call. My intuition was, my higher self was letting me know, be open to this. Not so much, oh, you need this, like be open to it because there were things to come. We know deep inside when, you kind of get that feeling like, it would be nice. It starts off, it would be nice to work with people, or it might be nice if I could have, somebody who I could share this with and talk to about this, on a more personal level, and I could trust them. And also I could learn from them and vice versa. Sometimes you like to share. That's why YouTube is fun. But sometimes you want to share this sort of stuff, but maybe you want to share on a more personal level. You don't want to do it on YouTube. Yeah, it might be nice to work with more than one person, right? And they can aid in your magic, by the way, and vice versa. You can lend energy to theirs. So it can be very nice. But once you get that, I don't know, you kind of, for me, it's a nudge, it's a quiet nudge. but, and I started with first the coven, and I had it pretty open to the public. But eventually, again, divine energy stepped in and it became very private. And then I still wanted to have that public space, so I did a safe place for witches on Discord channel. Check it out if you haven't already, because I'm solitary as well. I think a lot, not all solitary in a way. Yeah, the reversal kind of makes sense. Yeah, but check that out. A safe place for witches is on Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, it's an app you can put down on your phone. But there's always a link. I'm pretty sure I have a link in my description, a static link that I keep there for joining that. But yeah, hang over because we're going to be speaking of the safe place for witches on the Discord channel. I just introduced us doing a meet and greet on September 22nd. And that's where it's virtual. We can all kind of hang out and introduce ourselves. Say, what kind of witch are you? Are you a witch? Are you undecided? Are you just learning? That sort of stuff. And you can hang out with some cool witches. So maybe think about coming over and joining for that. That's going to be on September 22nd. I have not set a time yet, but it's going to be in the evening because everybody works and it's on a weekday. So yeah. But I thought it would be a great time to kick off fall and the true spooky season to do so. But I'm going to get ready to go because I feel like a coughing fit is coming on. Thank you, everyone, for joining. You're on Discord, KB. Awesome. Thank you. Join. Yeah, come on over there. It's low maintenance, by the way. Um, you pop in, you can lurk, occasionally if you want to add something, if there's something interesting you wanted to share or you had a question, by all means, pop in. And when we do things, pop in. So far, we've done all kinds of little, I want to say kind of original meetups, whether it was like a witchy coloring session, witchy journal, book of shadows, planning, that sort of stuff. Um, and then, of course, I do a Halloween, virtual Halloween party, which I will be doing this year for sure. So come in full costume if you want, but more about that later. But anyway, thank y'all so much for coming. I appreciate this a lot. Again, I'm Mika. This is Leap Taken. Don't forget to like this, by the way. That's kind of a thing. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider hitting the join button as well. Um, yeah, thanks again. Let me see, what did you say? Olivia says, I've driven to Arizona twice. The first time there was a dust storm during my trip. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, wow, I had to pull over and let the wind have her way. Yeah, yeah, you just let it have it. At that point, where it was getting worse, I was driving away from it a good 50 miles per hour, and I'm 60 in a 45 mile per hour zone because I wanted to get home because that was scaring me. Looking at everything went orange, and I looked behind me and I didn't see anything, and it freaked me out so bad. I was driving so fast on a residential street, but it's okay. Everybody was safe. It's fine. It all worked out. All right. Well, I will end it here. Again, thank you all. Don't forget, if you're interested in that book, it's a good read. I think you can add it to your, it's got some good ideas if you want to look into cleansings and purifying your space and all that sort of stuff and re energizing your home. But all right, I'm done talking. All right. Bye. Everybody have a great weekend.